Alright. Hello, Internet people. I'm going to demonstrate a technique I developed for taking all the seeds out of a watermelon. The reason I'm motivated to do this is because I've been thinking about it for a while, and I looked on YouTube, and there's a bunch of videos about how to take all the seeds out of a watermelon, and they're all bogus. They're all horrible. So for all my life, I've heard about, using a bowl of water, because the seeds do sink and the white stuff does float. But who wants to eat wet pomegranate seeds? Come on. So forget the bowl of water. And then some of the videos talked about cutting the pomegranate. You never cut a pomegranate. Oh my God. If you cut a pomegranate, you just end up with pomegranate juice all over the cutting board, and that's not what we want. So I printed out the Wikipedia page to spice this up with a little trivia about pomegranates, because they're very historical. It's in season in the northern hemisphere from October to February. Pomegranates do not get more ripe if you leave them sitting around. They only get ripe on the tree. So late in the season is when you get the best of them. And I just got some really friggin' killer pomegranates from Food Max. In fact, I went back and got 15 more. That's how much I love pomegranates. So the Wikipedia page even talked about cutting the pomegranates, and some of the videos talk about cutting them open a certain way and then pounding on them with a wooden spoon to get the seeds to fall out. Don't pound on your pomegranates. That's pomegranate abuse. They don't want to be abused that way. They love us. Alright, so here's what I do. Here's what I've always done. You have to know a little bit about the internal structure of a pomegranate in order to be successful at this, and I will demonstrate what that is as we go along. This is the blossom end, this is the stem end, and they talk about cutting on the ridges, some of the videos. Well, some of the pomegranates are perfectly round. If you just cut off the very top of the top, and so you can see what's going on, and we have to score it. You never cut the pomegranate, but you score it so you can break it apart. But you have to cut into this center stem about 1 inch, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, so you cut down into the center, and then you score it along the ridges. It doesn't really matter where you score it, so you can break it in half, and then you break it in half over the bowl. Okay. And then you can see this stem part here. That's why we had to cut down. Alright, so to get it to break apart. Now the pomegranate is organized into 5 or 6 segments on the top 2/3, and then this bottom third is set up differently. So the first trick in my technique is to separate it into segments, because the goal is to push these pomegranate seeds off their segments without breaking them. These little guys here, this is like a balloon of juice, a tiny little balloon of delicious watermelon juice. And if you squish it, you just get juice all over it. So I cut this part here and break it off. This is getting ready to break this into segments so that all the pomegranate seeds are on the surface of the segments, and we can just knock them off. Then you have to separate this bottom third. So you score, see where the segments come together? You score the pomegranate around that way, and then over here where they come together, you score the pomegranate around that way, and sometimes you have to make a little tiny cut in that white stuff because it's actually, and then you just break the bottom part off, like that, over the bowl. Okay? This technique involves checking your bowl from time to time to see what little bits of white stuff has fallen in there and taking them back out, because the white stuff is very bitter. So now it's easy enough to break this into smaller segments. The trick, the real trick in peeling pomegranates is to peel away the peel. You peel away the peel. Once you get it into a segment, here's a nice small segment. Okay, you take the white stuff off, and then you peel away the peel, and that leaves all the pomegranate seeds right on the surface. See, I dropped a little bit in there. And then you just break them off. Push them sideways. You don't want to push them on the top because that'll squish them and you'll just have juice all over everything. So you wiggle them and you break them sideways. And then the other thing to know about this technique is that you're not going to get all of them. Some of them have grown into the pomegranate in such a way that you cannot get at the side. And if you just try to break them out from the top, like see, these are really in there. So if I want to get those out, if I want to spend the time to get those out, I have to break the peel away to where I can get at the side. And sometimes I realize, okay, well, it's not going to come out without breaking it, so I just leave it. All right. So then again, you peel away the peel. Okay. Peel away the peel. Peel away the peel. And then checking the bowl for white shit, and push all the pomegranate seeds off into the bowl. Just like that. And it's kind of meditative. It's kind of fun. You know, I'll sit here and do a half a pomegranate. Usually by the time I've got a half of one done, my mouth is watering so bad I have to stop and eat it. So this bottom third section is a little different, and anytime it's like, you can see there's a division here. There's a division here. So we want to divide it, but it's kind of tight because of all that white stuff holding it. So you just make a little mark, and then it breaks apart real easy. And once you have it broken apart real easy, you can knock all of the seeds off into your bowl. So forget the water. Nobody likes to eat wet pomegranate seeds. Don't ever beat them with this. I mean, really, the demonstrations were like, oh, you beat it here and the seeds fall out. That doesn't even work. The one video that was doing that had like 4 million views. It was posted 7 years ago. I'm like, I'm going to post one. Maybe I'll get 1 million views in 7 years. So check the bowl frequently. You have to wash your hands afterwards because some of these will break and get juice on your hands. But if there's that much left, I'm not going to be able to get those seeds out. It's not worth it. It's just going to break. So I just leave it. And then this segment hasn't been done over yet. And just that quick, we have half the pomegranate all peeled into a nice bowl. They're better cold. Get them cold first. Oh, all right. This is the other part of the half. I'll do a whole half. Okay. This is just another segment from that half. And this is a good example. You can see this is actually 2 segments, and I want to separate them. So again, I have to score it where they come together, and then break them apart. Break them apart. All right. Well, that's good. You get the idea.